And the last game that we have on this list is Remnants.
Designed by Justin DeWitt, Matthew O'Malley, and Ben Rosset. The artist is JJ Ariosa, Víctor Pérez, Corbella, and Mateusz Wilma, and published by Fireside Games.
So kind of hard names.
Yeah.
All right, well, if you're not familiar with Remnants, this game came out at Gen Con 2018, and essentially it is a post-apocalyptic survival game with the real-time element of collecting resources from the center of the table. What you're going to be doing is competing. It is not a cooperative game. You're competing to build the best settlement. During that, you're trying to also make it defensive enough to fend off the bad guys. The game is played over 6 rounds. Every other round, you're going to fight a bad guy at the end of it. Otherwise, each round is identical. You're going to start off by taking your survivor tokens. There are 4 player boards, and each one starts off with like a different assortment of survivors. You've got survivors and specialists. They're essentially little square chits or whatever, like tokens with like colored art or whatever. And you're either going to have survivors, which have no special abilities, or a specialist, which has special abilities. And each player board starts off with like a different assortment of these guys. Basically, at the beginning of the round, you're going to place your survivors out on the main board. And the main board is going to be populated with like resources. There's like 5 different resources, like plastic and rope, metal, and like 2 more. What was it? Cloth and
Plastic?
wood.
Yes.
You say plastic?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got 5 different resources. I believe, I haven't really read or remember all the setup rules in this case, but I believe there's 1 of each resource per player. So there's like, in a 4-player game, there's 4 wood, 4 cloth, there's 4 of each. 3-player game, I think there's 3 of each, etc. It might change in a 2-player game, I don't know. Anyway, but so the point being is that they are limited each round. So if you want wood, there's only a couple that you can get, and then you may have to wait till next round to get some. You're going to place your survivors into the desert or into the city. In the desert, it's going to be a scavenger in which they're going to gather those tokens. If they're in the city, they're going to be a looter, and they're going to roll dice to generate points. And on your player board, there are 3 different stats that have like a little square tracker that you get to move up and down. So you can get medicine to heal your guys if they're hurt. You can get screwdrivers, which I guess I think it is called screwdriver, but basically tools.
Yeah.
That you can spend 2 of those to add a pip to a die, basically. And then you can get scrap. You can spend 2 of those to add a resource of your choice. And all right, after you've assigned your guys, you're going to flip over pretty much an event card. It's called a Badlands card. It's going to do some bad stuff. A couple of them might do some good stuff or whatever. Sometimes they might hurt your guys. Sometimes they might deplete some of the resources on the middle of the board or whatever. After that, you're going to pick up your dice. Everybody gets 4. Yes, you get 4 dice. And they're all 6 sides are different. There's all 5 of the resources, and then there's a star. What you're trying to do, this is the real-time element of the game. You're going to roll your dice. You say go. The first player token, whoever has that, it's going to say 3, 2, 1 scavenge or something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know if we actually did that every time, but basically you say go. Everybody starts rolling, and if you can roll, you can keep what you want, you can re-roll what you want, etc. Once you get 3 of a symbol that you're okay with, you yell out what that symbol is. So say I get 3 wood, I'm like, taking wood. I grab a wood from the center, place it on one of my scavenger guys. Each of your guys can hold 1 piece, except the specialist. There's 1 for the scavenging. He can hold 2. There's also another specialist that can only need 2 symbols instead of 3. The last specialist is a looter. He gives you +1 points in the looting phase, which I'll tell you about in a minute. So there you go. We've covered the specialist. But basically, you just keep rolling. Once you collect a resource, you have to roll 4 your dice again. You'll get another resource. At some point, you're going to want to try to grab one of the bonus tiles. The problem with grabbing a bonus tile is it ends your turn. You're no longer doing the real-time element anymore. You're done. So there's 1 less bonus tile per player, or for the player count. So if there's 4 players, there's only 3 bonus tiles. Obviously, you want a bonus tile because they give you bonuses, such as a resource of your choice, or they might give you a wanderer that will actually join you next round as a looter or scavenger, etc. Once everybody is done with the scavenging phase, because the bonus tiles have been grabbed, then you move on to the looter phase. Same thing, or it's not the same thing. You roll the 4 dice, the same dice, but on the dice on each side, there's pips, and there's 1, 2, and 3. I don't remember the distribution. It doesn't really matter. But you roll that, you count up how many pips you get. If you have a looter specialist, you get +1.
1 dice per looter.
Oh yeah, it's 1 die. Sorry, I did say roll all 4 dice. No, you roll 1 die per looter guy that you have in the city. So if you put 4 guys in there, you get 4 dice. If you put 1 guy, you only get 1 die. For every pip that you get, you can move those squares on your 3 different things on your player board. You can move those up. So you can gain medicine, screwdrivers, or scrap. After that, you move on to the purchasing phase. Basically, there's like this Ascension style grid layout. You have level 1, 2, and 3 cards. Each one of those have 3 cards on display. So you have a tableau of 9 cards that are available to purchase. In player turn order, you say, do you want to buy a card? You spend the resources that you gathered in the last 2 phases to buy a card. You keep it. It's either special abilities or it might be like fight power. For every fist, you actually get to, well, we'll go with that in a minute. But so you're going to buy special ability cards. You're going to buy cards, weapons to actually fight the bad guys. You're going to buy defense cards to give you defense points to lower the bad guy's health, essentially. And there's some other cards that give you like in-game scoring stuff. After everybody's done this, and you can make multiple purchases, you can only do 1 at a time. So 1 round will go of buys and then another round, etc., until everybody passes.
And then during that phase, you can also buy additional
specialists and
people.
survivors.
Right.
Yep. And then you move on to the fight phase, but only if it's every other round. So round 1, you don't fight. Round 3, you don't fight. Round 5, you don't fight. Round 2, 4, and 6. On 2 and 4, you're fighting bad guys. On 6, you actually fight a boss. There's three different bosses, but it's a little bit more random than that because they get a boss card attached to them. So there's like more like 9 options or something that you can actually encounter with the base game. And the combat's pretty simple. The bad guy has a life total. So say he has like 5. You have to equal 5 points of damage. You don't have any way of doing damage unless you buy cards. When you buy cards, you'll either have a shield, which will permanently reduce their, or not permanently, but reduce their health by 1 point. So that 5 is now a 4. Weapon cards will give you a fist, and you can roll 1 die, and however many pips that you roll takes away their health. So you have a 1, 2, or 3 chance chances to do 1, 2, or 3 points of damage per die. And that's it. Unless there's other cards that I just don't remember that add damage, but I'm pretty sure it's like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You can add your screwdrivers. You can spend 2 of those to get a pip. That was the other thing you can do.
Right.
So if you don't buy cards and you don't have screwdrivers, you're going to suffer the failure portion of that card. So anyway, you're either going to win or lose. There's a victory, there's a loss. You'll gain, lose resources, have to wound your guys. If your guys are wounded, they go face down. They get wounded again, they're removed and put back on the card so other people can buy them. And that's 1 round. You just do that 6 times. And again, the boss is just the same thing as normal guys. They're just harder. They have a lot more hit points. At the end of the game, I forgot the whole funny part about this game, by the way. At the end of the game, as you're doing stuff and killing the bad guys, you actually collect victory points, but they're in the flavor of ketchup packets. Because in the post-apocalyptic world, only flavor matters.
Flavor is everything.
Flavor is everything. So you're trying to collect ketchup packets, and you get points for that. The cards that you buy are worth ketchup, usually 1, 2. I think they're only 1 or 2 points. I don't remember any 3s.
I didn't either.
And you get points for your survivors who are not wounded. You get 2 points for your survivors if they're specialists. And there might be a couple other things for points. I don't remember. But essentially, at the end of the 6th round, whoever has most points wins. Eric, what'd you think of this? Or better yet, Matt, you demoed this at least.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't remember a whole lot about it. I think the thing I liked the most about it was, I think depending on your play style, if you don't feel like putting up with the hecticness of the real time, you can kind of devote your people more and it's kind of like a gamble. You're kind of gambling both ways, I guess. But
yeah,
if you don't want to get caught up in all the crazy dice rolling, and devote so much time and effort towards that. You can just do the scavenge part of it. And I think she even said that a kid was doing nothing but that, and it was an actual viable
Strategy.
auction. Yeah,
I think he won.
So it was kind of neat.
I don't know if that would work in the full
real
length game.
Yeah.
Because you can't go above your max points in scrap. It costs 2 to get a resource. So essentially you can only trade them all in for 3 resources.
Okay.
So I mean you probably do need to contribute, but you could like scale it more towards rolling dice for pips.
Right.
But I think you're better off trying to go for the actual.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was still fun either way, sitting there just chucking dice around, trying to do this real-time thing, and everybody's going after different materials, and you're just hoping nobody beats you to it, and it felt like a race that you were just trying to beat everybody to a certain resource. So
Yeah.
and I like the way you finished the round with the what was it, the wild whatever stops the real-time thing. How
the bonus cards?
Yeah, the bonus.
Or the bonus chips? Yeah.
Bonus chits or whatever. So it's got some nice aspects to it. So,
Eric, what did you think of the real-time aspect? Because I kind of remember you at first like being like, it's got real-time? What?
Yeah, I typically shy away from real-time aspect things in games, but I mean, it wasn't horrible, although I will say that for it being post-apocalyptic, maybe resources are kind of hard to get. For me, I didn't feel like resources were really scarce by doing it by dice, because like you said, it's 1 per player, so usually you didn't really need more than 1, and if you did,
I'm pretty sure it was 1 per player. I mean, it's on the board and it has it's clearly marked. You can't really mess it up. But
right, I didn't feel like it was hard to get whatever you wanted during that phase. So
I mean, maybe if we played it a bunch and people kind of pay more attention what they can buy out there,
right?
And it's like, well, we need wood,
and we knew the cards better, I guess, probably, or
right. I think we kind of, I don't know, we had a bad patch for the first 2 rounds because we got the ones that you suffer so much damage,
right,
and it was very unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is the post-apocalyptic,
right? It is thematic and stuff. Yeah, there's cards that are gonna be in the event deck that are gonna mess you up. So I guess that's part of the game. It is you do a lot with dice, so it is gonna be heavy on the luck aspect of things. So
or the speed aspect,
or maybe the speed aspect.
I guess it's lucky because you can roll, get a 3 of a kind, roll, get a 3 of a kind.
Yeah. Also with looting, you're rolling dice to get pips to go up on your track. So you're also, when you're fighting, you're rolling against trying to take out the bad guys.
Yeah. From a theme aspect, I think the real time really ties in well.
Sure.
Because the franticness of like running around and trying to find things and grab it before somebody else does.
Right. I did like that kind of aspect to it. And I thought that the theme went through it pretty well. I just thought that there was too many of those resources.
Yeah, that's fair.
Most of the things that you're going to buy, it only cost, most of them, you only needed 1 of any item.
Right. It's not like you need 3 wood.
2, right.
Yeah.
So, getting 1 wood, wasn't hard. And if you got a lot of the other stuff that over the bonus tiles, you can get 1 that you can pick whatever you want. Another one was, I guess, roll, and I guess you have 1 in 6 chance, or 2 in 6 chance, because if you did a star, you get anything you want again.
Yeah. It's weird though, because you collect all these resources and then I feel like you spend them, and that's the only thing I'll say. That I'm not saying it's a negative, I can't place it in my head. The cost of everything does not seem correct.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I buy this one thing and it's like, it gives you 1 victory point for every 2 shields. But, I mean, it's like, that does nothing for you. If you buy it at the last turn of the game, maybe it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But,
if you had shields. Or
and if you had shields. But,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, it was just really weird because, like, that didn't seem as more powerful as buying, like, the shotgun. Or another card that does, like, whatever gun had, like, 3 fists. Which is incredible. Like, the fighting is kind of neat.
I don't remember 3.
Maybe it was
maybe 2.
Maybe it was 2, but you can kill a guy or wound a guy for another one. Is that what you had?
I had to wound a guy, right? No, I think that was...
It was 1 and then...
Yeah, I don't remember now, but yeah.
Too much Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Right.
But keeping us up at night.
I would say that overall the game was only okay for me. However, if they came out with some sort of expansion that, added to this game, I think it would ramp up a lot better for me. If they had more cards, if they had more weapons, if they had specialists that, maybe helped you fight or defend or did something else. Definitely more weapons, because for us, some of us got weapons and some of us couldn't do anything in a fight.
That is one thing I'll say that it did not work out well for us, is the fact that there's only 3 cards of each level out on display.
Mm-hmm.
If people don't want to buy something, or for instance, they can't, or I don't know, there's no way to like refresh those cards or spend like some resources to force a refresh to get something, because the combat, you lose unless you have cards. You know what I'm saying? Well,
yeah.
I mean, I guess you could spend tools, but you can only get, 3 of those?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there's even a 3-power boss. So you have to...
definitely not 3-power boss. Maybe the ones prior. They're not really called bosses, but the two
Just
that you
the bad
fight.
guys.
Yeah, the bad guys that you fight prior to the boss.
The first one we fought had 4.
Oh, okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and there's not that many of them,
Mm-hmm.
even for each deck. But my point being is, there's no other way to fight them except for rolling dice from the fist from weapon cards and reducing it by 1 for the defense, which was like a really odd thing to me, because there's no zeros on the dice.
I thought you could use screwdrivers to fight them.
No, that's what I said, but you can only, it's 2 screwdrivers. And so you only have, I think, 6. So if you spend all your screwdrivers, you hit at a power 3. And like, I don't think there's a bad guy with 3 hit points.
Or you can have a shield, I guess, to reduce it to 3.
That's what I'm saying, though. Unless you buy a card,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot kill something.
Oh, right.
And so, like, if no one, or for instance, crap cards come out that aren't weapons or defense.
And it didn't feel like there was enough weapons and defense.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of it seemed like abilities to help you do stuff.
Get more resources, or maybe get VP.
Yeah.
But
So, like, I don't know. It's like, I want to like this game, but it is more like a mid-range okay to me.
mm-hmm.
I had a lot of fun with it. I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it, and I think that's more important than anything.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think that we got in a lot of situations where it's like, I wish I could buy more things.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had more options available. Like, maybe, like we were talking about, have like a display of weapons and then a display of defense cards and stuff.
Right.
So like,
so you can kind of, garner your play style how you want, kind of thing.
yeah. And even if like you buy those and they don't refresh until the end of the round, but at least you know that there's always going to be a weapon or defense item or a special item like available.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, because all the weapons were bought from the level 1 deck,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe like there's only 3 cards out there that nobody wants to buy. Who's going to buy a
It just
card
clogs up. Yeah.
just to get it to refresh for the next 3 players? Like, there would be cool if you could spend, like in King of Tokyo, where you can spend some resources to wipe the field
Mm-hmm.
of one of the levels. Not even wipe it, but just put them on the bottom of the deck. And then, so, I don't know. That was just whatever. But at the same time, I mean, it is post-apocalyptic. So you got to take what's dealt to you.
Sure.
It's just from a gameplay perspective, it wasn't as much fun in that aspect, even though I really do like the game.
Mm-hmm.
The real-time thing is awesome. The boss thing is kind of neat. The fights could have been a little bit cooler, like as far as, it's very basic. Just roll, get points, and equals
Right.
stuff.
And if I remember right, the benefits weren't that high. You might get 1 VP for killing them, and then a basic bonus for killing them. But losing, it wasn't that bad either. Not the boss, but the 2 prior.
Yeah. Yeah, the boss was terrible. He like wiped out all your guys, or at least the one we had in his special card.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I like the game. I think that it's going to be one of those games, and obviously we only played it, once, and we demoed it and stuff. But I think it's going to be one of those games where you're going to have a hit and miss session. You're going to play, and it's going to be like, wow, that one wasn't that fun. And you play another time, you're like, that was awesome. And it depends on the people. You got to have people that like real time.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, this game is not going to do well for them. They might as well just stay away from it. But who said the expansion?
Me. Yeah.
Eric.
If they came out with an expansion that added all these different elements and more cards, like I
More
said,
variety
and
and
more
stuff,
variety
yeah.
and more things to do. I think the game is there, but not fleshed out, or there's not enough of it for me.
That's fair.
If there was a little bit more, I think I would like it a lot more.
Yeah. So anyway, I look forward to playing it multiple times and see if it changes my any concerns I had, if it was just first play luck, or if maybe there's some way to do something to, I don't know.
I did hear that there are some variants and stuff at the back of the book. I'm not sure if you've read through those or.
No, yeah, I remember there being variants, but I don't read them because I never used the variants on the first couple of times. Yeah,
yeah.
So,
But that might change up some stuff. I doubt it, but
man, now I'm wondering where it's at. Hang on, keep talking. Or not talking.
Nope.
Yeah, keep talking. Eric's just like, I guess we'll just stop talking. Wait for. All right, so here we go. Let's get it. Let's look these over and see if any of this might be.
Comes in a lot smaller box than I would have thought it would have.
I like the box size. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Credits, alternate rules. There's 3 of them. Desperate exchange. You can move any one of your loot cubes down by 2 points to increase any other type of loot by 1 space.
meh.
I mean, because you get to pick what you put the points in anyway.
Right. I mean, I guess there's some times where like,
build up a lot of medicine, but you don't.
I don't need it.
Yeah. Head start. During setup, give each player 2 resource tokens and 1 level 1 development card at random. I would like to change that and say don't start with resource tokens, but get 2 level 1 development cards, pick one, get rid of it. That actually would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Get rid of it.
Well, no, I mean,
choose one and
get rid of the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, get rid of it. Illusion
Yeah.
of choice.
Yeah.
And surprise attacks. To add more uncertainty to the combat, do not flip over the dread card until the start of the fight phase.
And the dread cards are the
bad.
the 2 smaller bosses or bad guys.
So you don't know what you're going up against until you get up there.
That's all right.
But I mean, their
They're
special
not that
ability
much
isn't
different.
really that big of a deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not really that. You can kind of guess it. There's only like 3 of them.
Yeah. You need 4 or 5 or 6 power.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I don't know. I like this thing. I like this thing about getting 2 level 1 development cards, picking one, and starting with that.
Sure.
Or maybe like you get 2 level 1 development cards and 5 resources to spend, all unique or whatever. And so basically, long story short, you buy get your development card, but you get the offset of 5 resources. Like if I pick one that only costs 3, but you pick one that costs 4,
you have to use the resources. Of whatever you buy.
Right. You get 5, pick anything, but then when the game starts, you actually collect some tokens or whatever. So that everybody starts with 5 resources, but some of them have them built into a development card, and some of them have them as pure resources.
Right.
That would be kind of cool. I'd actually like that.
Sure.
We're gonna try it. Anyway, final thoughts. Talked a lot. We've tangented at the end of this one. Matt, anything?
It's fun.
Yeah, it was okay.
All right. Well, I look forward to trying it again. I'm okay with real-time post-apocalyptic settings.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is Remnants.